And welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, February 9th, 2022. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. 2 more COVID-19 deaths have been recorded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Monday, bringing the death toll from the viral illness to 101. This is according to the latest report released by the Ministry of Health, Wellness and the Environment today. A 71-year-old male with underlying conditions tested positive for COVID-19 on January 31st and was admitted to the isolation ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and died on Monday of COVID-19 pneumonia. Also, an 89-year-old female with underlying conditions tested positive for COVID-19 on January 30th and was admitted to the isolation ward at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital and died on Monday, February 7th of COVID-19 pneumonia. Of those who have died from COVID-19, 97 were unvaccinated, 3 were fully vaccinated, and 1 partly vaccinated. There are 9 COVID-19 patients in hospital up to Tuesday, February 8th, 2 of whom are fully vaccinated and 7 unvaccinated. The country has recorded 6,713 PCR confirmed cases of COVID-19 since March 2020, while as of January 5th, there were 1,446 rapid antigen cases for a total of 8,159 cases. 4 new PCR and 11 rapid antigen cases were recorded during the reporting period. There were 72 recoveries during the reporting period, leaving active 144 cases. As of Tuesday, 66,277 doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered in the country, made up of 34,832 first doses, 28,660 second doses, and 2,785 booster shots. The Ministry of Health is looking at ways of strategizing to ramp up the island's vaccination campaign. Speaking on radio this morning, Prime Minister Dr. Al-Gensaf said that certain groups are being targeted to amplify the message of vaccines, singling out personnel in sports and culture.
And I was talking to the Chief Medical Officer about how this could be done, and ideas which come up obviously are to spend a lot more time with people who are in sports and culture, in the schools, secondary schools over 12 years of age, community college, and very much in, we have a lot of groups, the diabetic and hypertensive groups now in the various communities, so that we get people to understand that it's necessary for them to take the vaccine.
The Prime Minister pointed out that the statistics show that more young people are contracting COVID-19, but more elderly are dying. He appealed to the elderly to take the available vaccines and for the youths to be more responsible.
It's likely to hospitalize you, and it may kill you. And those who are younger have to understand and take responsibility. I hear a lot of anti-vax foolishness or the same thing about choice and all the rest. When you take it home and you give your grandparents, they have a choice. You use your choice and you give them the COVID, and they get very sick, or sadly in some cases they die. So I know sometimes some of the old persons are reluctant to take it, but I want you to listen to me. It is better, far better, to take it than not to take it. I'm talking the vaccine.
The Prime Minister also spoke on the current statistics, which saw 2 more people dying from COVID-19, bringing the death toll to 101.
Well, I was informed last evening by the authorities that there were 2 more deaths, by the health authorities, that there were 2 more deaths. So that take it to 101. Those 2 are also unvaccinated. You know the numbers before. of the 99, they had 2 were vaccinated fully, 1 partially, and everybody else unvaccinated. They told me that there were 8 in the hospital, ranging who are admitted between 32 years and 90 years, and all of them unvaccinated.
Also on radio today, Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves admits that his government erred in not consulting with farmers prior to starting the Quarry project in Richmond, but said that it was not meant to be disrespectful. The Prime Minister said that while many support the project, officials from the various ministries should have met with the residents prior.
Even the persons who have lands over where the quarry is going to be, they support the project, you know. You notice that? They're saying, well, you dropped the ball. You should have talked to us. Never mind, you tell them that you had a conversation in an earlier stage. The truth is this, they're right. The relevant officials in the ministries should have gone and dealt with this matter. It's a straightforward thing, but it's not that they should have done it. Even though they had done before, no, there was a different investor. But it's not disrespect by the government. It's an error, but not disrespect. Because you know that we always talk to persons, always consult with them.
Minister of Urban Development, Julian Francis, and the Minister of Tourism will be hosting a news conference tomorrow to provide further details on the Richmond Quarry project. And Prime Minister Dr. Afghan Salves said he has been made aware of trafficking in persons taking place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which has to be stopped before it becomes a bigger issue. Today on radio, the Prime Minister said the Trafficking in Persons unit of the SVG Police Force has been asked to get involved in the matter. According to the Prime Minister, reports are that women are being hired to do babysitting jobs in the United Kingdom illegally.
When they come by my office, I tell them, and of course many of them want help to get to England. And our office is telling them very simply, you go to England because you're of intention, you can get to go there without a visa and stay up to 6 months, provided that you have somewhere where you're staying and all the rest of it. But you can't go to England to go work unless you have a work permit. And what happens in these circumstances? We don't have to reinvent the wheel, you know. We know what has happened. They go up, they may do some babysitting at below minimum wages, illegally, because they're not supposed to work if they don't have a work permit. Then they get abused in one way or the other. Things are difficult. They ain't got nobody, you know, friend or family up there to help them. They may overstay, they get deported, they get locked up. Or sometimes they get pushed into things which are worse.
The Prime Minister lamented the fact that SVG remains one of the few countries that citizens do not require a visa to travel to the UK, and he would love for it to continue that way. He said that the promises that are being made to women being recruited do not have their interest at heart, and that they could be hurting themselves and the country.
There are some countries who have had visas to go to England, and they lose it. They lose that privilege because either the persons who go involved in some criminality, or they are persons who abuse this particular privilege of going without a visa. Now, as I say, I am openly alerting people, especially the young women, some young men too, but mainly young women overwhelmingly, to this particular problem. And some persons are anxious just to leave, and they don't think it through. We can't just remain silent on it. We have to talk about it. To advise people not to do this, you're harming yourself and you're harming the country. Please, listen to me.
The Prime Minister said that the Labour Department has provided information on trafficking in persons and urged citizens to take heed. PM Gonsalves noted that the police will be investigating the matter as they already know who are the people involved.
All I can do in these circumstances is to give sensible advice, and they have done it in other countries in the Caribbean before, and we have had problems, and I believe that the police may know at least one group who is, or at least a couple of individuals who are involved in it. Not Vincentians,
Visits to inmates incarcerated at the Kingston and Bellows prison facilities will continue to be conducted under new protocols effective Monday, February 14, 2022. The protocols are as follows. Each inmate will receive one visit per week, not exceeding 15 minutes. Visits are only by appointments where some valid form of identification is to be presented, and no more than 2 persons will be allowed to visit an inmate at the same time. Members of the Public Service Union who lost their job as a result of the government's vaccination mandate are receiving financial support from the union. This has been outlined by President of the PSU, Elroy Boucher.
We have so far, I think, 44 persons who have brought into us their letters of dismissal. But some persons have not yet gotten letters of dismissal. So we were only addressing those that we have on record as having been dismissed. And so the union looked at their situation, because we know many of them are going through a very difficult time trying to make ends meet. We have heard from them, and therefore we acknowledge that it is our duty to assist in any way we can. So hence, we decided as an executive that we must provide some form of income support to all of these members.
Boucher noted that as a trade union, the Public Service Union is responsible for assisting its members in critical times, but unfortunately they would not be able to carry on providing financial support for an extended period of time due to lack of resources.
Well, as a trade union, we really can't carry it on. It's not sustainable to go on for a very long time. So in the first instance, this is one-off support. The case is being heard now, so we'll have to monitor and see what really happens with respect to the case, how quickly it gets through the court, because we actually do not have the resources actually to sustain this over a long period of time. We really don't. So what we're doing is really a sacrifice, given what the workers are going through.
PRO of the group Rise High Runa and President of the SVG Teachers Union South Leeward Branch, Nashika Williams, will be coming against Oswald Robinson for lead position of the SVG Teachers Union in the election scheduled for Tuesday, February 22nd and Wednesday, 23rd February. Williams, who has been a teacher for 20 years and a member of the SVG Teachers Union for over 10 years, told SVG-TV News in a telephone interview today that she is confident she will be elected as president, noting that she has a lot of plans to take the union forward. Williams said she plans to implement new policies where teachers can get small loans from the union. She also hopes to show teachers who are reluctant of joining the union that there is more to the union than always engaging in battles with the government.
I intend to engage in our constitution reform. I also have plans to work with the Gender Committee, continue my work with the Gender Committee to bring more awareness to violence against women and children, also breast cancer awareness and so on. I also have plans to add, to bring in a few new things to the union by way of a revolving loan, so to speak, for teachers, where something small Naturally there needs to be more investigation into it. But I think at this time teachers have been, there's been stretched to the limits where their finances are concerned. And if the union has the resources, then why not try to assist teachers in loans of, I'm not sure, I can't give a figure as to just what exactly we'll be able to work with just yet. But I'm sure with the proper investigation and research and so forth, we would be able to come up with something for teachers.
Williams also spoke about the work that she has been involved with in assisting teachers who have been impacted by the government's vaccination policy.
Christmas, we would have engaged in a toy drive for those teachers who were fired due to the vaccine mandate. So we had over 150 public servants who would have benefited from, and their children, of course, who would have benefited from that toy drive. Why should I be elected? Nikisha Williams has always been service-oriented. She has been a driving force. She has worked with a number of organizations to represent teachers, not just on the local, but also on the regional level. She has been there for teachers, and she continues to be there for teachers. She continues to represent at the very best of her ability, and she will continue to do so. I am driven, I am present, and I am ready. And that, in a nutshell, is why I do believe I ought to be the next president of the SVG-TU.
Williams said she is committed to work in the best interest of all teachers. Meanwhile, Nicole Martindale and Snag will be taking on Vanrick Williams for the vice president position. The candidates nominated for the other positions of the SVG Teachers Union are unopposed. Miss SVG 2011, Avia Charles has been appointed as the new chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee. In an interview with SVG-TV News, Charles gave us a background story on how she got to this point and how she feels about assuming the new position.
Involvement with pageantry would have started in 2011 when I participated in and won the Miss SVG 2011 pageant. From there, I would have established a pageant agency called Regality Pageant Agency, where I coached and trained young girls desirous of competing in pageants, whether it is at a community or at a national level. So when I was informed or consulted about the position, I took a while to digest it, but it is something I am very much excited about in terms of not just only focusing on one young lady, but touching as many lives as possible. Because even though the Miss SVG pageant or title can only be afforded to one young lady, being the chairperson allows me the opportunity to touch and impact the lives of each young lady who would be a participant in the pageant.
Charles said she looks at her new position as an opportunity to grow as an individual and with the support of her committee to enhance the Miss SVG pageant.
You would have rightly said the pageant has been around for over 35 years, and there are chairpersons who obviously would have come before me who have done an excellent job in terms of building what the brand Miss SVG is. So being the chairperson now gives me an opportunity to learn from what they would have done, and also to find ways in which we can continuously enhance and build on what Miss SVG is. It is quite difficult to pinpoint a key area because it is something that it's a holistic experience. So as it relates to training, whether it is your deportment, how you walk, how you carry yourself, the way that you conversate with persons, the way that you answer questions, public speaking as well. So every area that you can think of as it relates to preparing the young ladies for the pageant, all of those are key areas, and all of those are areas that I will be enhancing and my committee will be enhancing as well.
The new chair of the CDC Beauty Shows Committee used the opportunity to lend some advice to young women across SVG to be courageous and pursue their dreams without fear or worry about criticism from the public.
SVG pageant, year after year, we see when the pageant is done that there is a slew of negative criticism directed towards the young ladies. And what I will say to them is you sincerely have to be strong. And one of the things that you always have to remind yourself of is if you have a dream, go for your dream. Because 5 to 10 years from now, you do not want to look back on an opportunity that you could have had and think or regret, I didn't do this because I was hesitant or skeptical about what other persons would have said. Go after your dreams. And as I always say to persons, it's an immense amount of joy knowing that you, after you've completed your studies, you come back home and you do not have to repay a student loan. I think that is one of the greatest incentives any young woman can ever have.